All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I'm coming on here this morning because I really, truly, sincerely need to talk about something or at least make reference to something that is an epidemic in our society. It's a very, very serious problem. We often, misuse words because we don't define them just right. We understand the type of metaphorics or metamorphosis that a lot of words have actually went through over time. But it's also good to understand the origin of these words, where they originated from, and then how we got to the point that we are today. Of course, we all know that America is extremely feminist. We understand that. We know that, and we understand that there's really not a patriarchal rule in this country like it should be. Now, that's my personal opinion. I'm entitled to it, and I live by it because Pastor Dow is just simply is not going to be run by women or a woman. I'm just not going to be run by women or a woman. It's just not the order of things the way I understand it and the way it should be. I'm going to deal with the term emasculation here this morning. You know, emasculation, emasculate, emasculate. All right. A long time ago, the term emasculate, and I want to give an understanding, what that meant was the total, entire, complete removal of all the male anatomy. I mean, every single bit of it. So it's different than castration. Castration has to do with the two things that hang down there for the reproductive purposes. But now, since then, or a long time ago, you know, that word has been also defined as a man that is pretty much being dominated by a female, humiliated by a female, and thus stripping him of his spiritual manhood. And that's what we have today. We have a bunch of emasculated men who have actually just literally just given over their manhood and authority over to the women today, and that's the reason why our country is in the shape that it's in. I don't, ascribe to all this equality like everybody else does, and that's probably the reason why my YouTube demographics show 70% men and 30% women, which I'm fine with it. I like that. But if you look at a lot of these churches out there, you notice that the churches are full of women, and then you got these few men that are out there that are catering to the feelings and emotions of women because it's all about selling. It's a selling point. So they remember everything that these people do when they write books, when they have church services, when they have sermons, their job is to try to appeal to the emotions, appeal to the feelings of the women, because the women today are controlling the men in their homes. And when they're ruling and controlling, if they get the woman, they got the whole entire home. And they understand this strategy. They understand this psychology. And anytime you have a strong man, what's the first thing that happens? These emasculated men, what they try to do is attack a man. And of course, then they find out that it's not going to work. It's not going to work, whether it be a soft form or direct form or indirect form. It's just simply not going to work because a man that is a real, true male, a man figure and stuff, there's no way that he is going to allow an emasculated man to have any type of influence over him whatsoever at all. And of course, we're watching this today as, even our young men, they're being dominated by mother figures and stuff, and they're just soft today. I'm watching a soft form, and I'm telling you, with the way things are going, I see the fight that used to be in men. It's all but removed. There are very few warriors left in the time that we're living in. But I tell you what, it would do well if we would actually restore and go back to the old paths concerning what men really truly are and what women truly are, and the roles that we all should be functioning in, because then we'll find soundness and we'll find peace rather than all this chaotic insanity that seems to keep going on today. Now, I'm sure that I run the risk of being called a male chauvinist and everything else because of the conditioning that has happened today. I mean, it used to be a time it was an honorable thing for a woman to actually stay at home, raise her children, school her children, and guide the house. But the system in society, through Margaret Sanger and a couple of other people have made sure that they have altered and changed the minds of women. Like in the 70s when they threw their bras out in the street and said, we just as good as any man. And of course, I've always said that if you're just as good as any man, then you're not too good then, because any man is just not any good whatsoever at all. I know that this is a subject that it has to do with opinion. It's an opinion. But at the same time, there's a lot of truth in this, if you can understand it. But I understand that since we have mouths and when they move here in America, that we're all entitled to our opinion, and most of us are going to take it too. But I hope I said something to stimulate your thought, and I hope that real men, especially young men, because, there's coming a time when these young boys, especially if they've been dominated at home by a female figure and stuff, they're going to get out here in this world, and it's going to be ugly for them. It's really, truly going to be ugly for them, because they don't have the spiritual fortitude nor the intestinal fortitude to be able to stand and to be able to function in the world, because you know just as well as I do that this world is cold, it's hard, and it is very, very cruel and unforgiving. So, we have to teach our children, the generations coming behind us. We have to teach them the things that many of us did not learn in our youth. We have to teach them how to function in this mad, sick world that we all seem to find ourselves in, because, not only are the minds demonic, but we're just gendering to people that literally we're dealing with possessed people, just literally possessed in their minds, and it's become the norm here in America. So, everybody's worrying about movies where you got manifestations of people and stuff, and you watching. If you really take a good look, you can see today that there are many people walking around full of demons. Just look into their eyes. Look into their eyes. And I do mean really, truly look into their eyes. I promise you one thing. When you look into this eyes, you're not going to see no demon-infested man right here. You will see a man. And that's the truth. And that's the truth. Straightway.